Would you still love me if I was a cockroach? Well, that's basically the main plot of the book The Metamorphosis. It was written by Franz Kafka and published in 1915, posthumously after his death. It is one of his best-known works. The story tells the tale of a man called Grigor Samsa who inexplicably turns into a giant cockroach. Well, in the book, it's displayed as a horrible vermin, but in media, it's often portrayed as a cockroach. It entails the story of how morals die given enough time, even from people who initially care very much about you. Really is sad if you think about the morals and the ethics of the people and characters involved in the story.
Well, that was the preface. Now we look into the book. One morning, when Gregor Samsa woke from troubled dreams, he found himself transformed in his bed into a horrible vermin. What's happened to me? He thought. It wasn't a dream. His room, a proper human room, although a little too small, lay peacefully between its four familiar walls. Gregor Samsa one day wakes up and finds himself transformed into horrible, chocolatey vermin. We often show him as a cockroach because he can look and he can feel that his back is hard, his stomach is soft, and he has 8 tiny legs, tiny skinny legs that resemble a cockroach. Initially, he can't move or even control any of his limbs because he isn't used to it, and he knows that now he is very late to work. He sees the clock. Dear God, it's 6 past 45. He is 1 hour and 45 minutes exactly late to work. His family tried to check up on him, but to no avail. He can't respond to any of them, even though he still understands human words. Whenever he tries to respond, he unknowingly makes this horrible animalish sound. So Gregor Samsa tries to cover this by not saying anything. But to his horror, his boss arrives to his house. Oh my God, why do they care this much about me? He thinks as since 15 years in the company's history he has never been shown up late or even shown up sick. And surprisingly, not so surprisingly to Gregor Samsa, he sees that his boss, his very strict boss, has come to his house. He knows that he hasn't even been late or even been sick to work. It's unusual that he's not work at this time. And his parents now get very, how to say it, very suspicious that something horribly wrong has gone down. Gregor has not been answering any of their calls, and he cannot open the door since it is locked. So, by a miracle, Gregor Samsa managed to open the door, and his family sees him. They were horrified. His mother, she cried. His father was sort of angry and disappointed seeing Gregor Samsa, and his boss was terrified and tried to run away. Gregor Samsa sees this, and he initially thought this was a relief because finally they would understand what this conditioning has done to him and why he has not been answering to their calls and why he has been late. But no, he did not get an understanding. He just got more confusion as a reaction from his family. He tried to chase after his boss, but his father steps in the way to protect his mother, so he stomps at the floor, scaring Gregor Samsa to go back into his room. Then he kicks him, making a mortal wound on Gregor Samsa, and he locks him in his room. He can hear through the cracks of the door what they were trying to do with him after this horrible metamorphosis, as someone can say. His sister, who was very kind to him, was the one mainly treating him. Initially she gave him very nice foods like eggs and bacon, but then transformed to giving rotten eggs, and leftover meals because that's what he liked because he's now a cockroach. He's not a human anymore. His sister even cleans up the room for him. But since Gregor Samsa before was the backbone of the economy in this house, they were very burdened by the loss of him as a human because they cannot pay the bills anymore. His father's company, who was destroyed 5 years ago, that went bankrupt, cannot produce any money. His father and mother was jobless. What can they do? His father came back to work as a bank employee, and his sister, who was only 17, was now working. It came to the point where they had to rent their house to three gentlemen who were very rude. And now his sister's visit to his room, to Gil Samson's room, becomes less often. His room becomes dusty. Sometimes he hasn't eaten for over a week. Imagine that. When the three gentlemen came from their work, they were trying to find amusement, and Gregor's sister, who was pretty good at the violin, started giving them that. Gregor, who hasn't heard the violin in a while since his sister has been working, he opened the door of his room and crawled to see Gregor's sister. The three gentlemen noticed Gregor and thought, "My God, what is this creature?" It has been 3 months since his transformation. His father snapped. He told the three gentlemen to get out of this house. His sister, she said to the family, "Father, mother, we can't carry on like this. Maybe you can't see it, but I can. I don't want to call this monster my brother. All I can say is, we have to try to get rid of it. We've done all that's humanly possible to look after it and be patient. I don't think anyone can accuse us of doing anything wrong." He's absolutely right, said Gregor's father to himself. Gregor heard this, and because he hasn't eaten in over a month, he crawls slowly but surely back into his room, feeling very defeated. In his room, he lay, passes out,
So yeah,
and he
that was the
dies.
story of the Metamorphosis. It's a pretty good book, 70 pages. You should read it sometime because Franz Kafka really makes fascinating stories about fantasy topics, and he is able to convey the emotions. Well, I can't describe all the emotions because this is I don't know, it's a very short video. So you should go read it. It's a very good book, in my opinion. Thank you for watching. Bye.